Hi there, Ali Akbarian here, your resident road safety expert from Mobility Engineering, back again for another Q&A. We've received another question from our lovely listeners and our community out there. Thank you very much for sending them in. And as I always say, check out the button that looks a little bit like this down there. Hit the subscribe button and listen to all of our updates. And we've got more and more of this stuff coming out. And if you've got any questions, fire them on through. We're happy to answer them. We'll look up the answers and we'll find them just like what we've done with the question that's come in today. So let's get straight into it for the first Q&A of the new year. We've released a couple of videos this year that were filmed last year, but this is the first one we're filming this year, which is very exciting for 2018. So happy new year. We are looking forward to an awesome 2018, full of questions and full of answers that we can answer for you. So today's question is from an OT. It says, my client is sitting in a wheelchair in the vehicle and there is someone sitting behind them. So it's kind of like a bus or something like that. So they have a situation where the child or the occupant of the wheelchair sits in the wheelchair while they're traveling, and somebody is seated in a standard seated position, not in a wheelchair, just a standard everyday off-the-shelf car seat. They're just sitting there on there, and that seat is behind the wheelchair occupant. And what they've said is there any standards to say that while my client is in her power wheelchair, tied down to the vehicle, there should not be any seated passengers behind her? I'm wondering if in the case of an accident, what might happen? So this is a great question and something that we do get asked often, so we thought this is a great one to put on the video as well. So the first and foremost is that in terms of the overarching rules and regulations, just like in, let's say, a bus or a 7-seater car or a van or a people mover, a wheelchair occupant sitting in the wheelchair is just like anybody else in a seating position. So yes, somebody is allowed to sit behind them, just like they are allowed to sit behind you or me or whoever, right? So we are allowed to sit behind anyone. Sitting behind a wheelchair is not a problem. In the vehicle environment, the wheelchair is classified as a vehicle chair, so that's okay. However, there is a big catch to that, and there's a bit of a however to it. And that is, you can't just do that. You do need to get it assessed and you need to get it measured, because there is seating standards. So there is standards, and I'll put links to this stuff below. There is standards for seats in vehicles, Australian design rules, and I'll put a link to the Australian design rules below, the federal government. They set these standards for the design rules, the federal government does, and then people like us go out and manufacture products or sell products that are made in conjunction with those design rules. Also, when you modify a vehicle, there is also vehicle design rules as well. So one of the rules is for seating, and the rule for seating talks about how much space there needs to be between seats. So there's all these things you need to measure, like your leg length and your leg room and your head room and your heights and all that kind of thing. As long as all those measurements check out all right, then you are allowed to sit there. There's also a vehicle standards guide from the federal government as well on how to modify vehicles, VSB 14, and I'll put a link to that below as well. And that also has a section on seating and occupant protection and you know how far away you have to be. And if you are too close, it talks about how you can do padding and all those kind of things. Now, we do not expect you as the standard everyday person to be able to understand, interpret, and use those rules. Those rules have been designed to be used by engineers and certifiers within your industry or government bodies within your industry. My recommendation would be to go and see a local engineer or vehicle certifier and ask them, show them the setup and ask them to measure it against the Australian design rules and make sure that the measurements check out. There's also another thing around the design rules which talks about things like general safety around sharp edges, protruding parts. So for example, if your wheelchair had something sharp sticking out of it, yeah, that can't be there because that's a danger to other occupants. That part might need to be removed. So again, there's all these little fine-tuned things that you do need to look at, but you need to talk to an industry professional. Mobility engineering, that's basically what I am, your resident road safety expert, Ali. I am a certifying engineer, and that's why we do have this knowledge and this ability to bring you these answers. But there are lots of us out there, and you just need to find local ones to you, and they can help you with those. So yeah, basically you are allowed to sit multiple people behind seating positions, behind wheelchair occupants. That's not a problem. You just need to make sure the measurements check out and they're measured against the Australian design rules. and we'll put a link to that stuff below. And talk to your local automotive certifiers or engineers. And if you can't find them, talk to your local road authority and get them to help you find somebody. Normally the road authority is not going to be the one doing the measurements, so don't go asking them to do it, because if you ask them to do it, you're probably going to get yourself into a bit of trouble. Not trouble as in you're going to get into like trouble by doing the wrong thing, but you're going to end up wasting a lot of time going around in circles. In our experience, the guys from the government are actually pretty helpful. They want to try and help you, but then what they end up doing is they think, okay, this person might know, and they'll put you through to that person, that person, that person, and you end up wasting time going around in circles. And it's coming from a good place that they do want to help you, but it is what it is. They just don't have that expertise, and they don't have that service within their... It's not that they don't have the expertise, they don't have that service within their organisation. It's normally a privatised thing that a private engineer would do. So hopefully that helps. And again, thank you very much for tuning in to our first Q&A of 2018. Well, technically our first recording of a Q&A in 2018. And as I said before, please send us in your questions. We're happy to hear any questions. Send them in on Facebook, put them in below, send them in on email, info@mobilityengineering.com.au, and we'll get a video up for you straight away. And last but not least, do not forget to hit that subscribe button that looks a bit like this down there. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. All we're going to do is bring more and more information like this, more and more content, more and more videos and information on the industry, products, and 2018 is going to be a big year on YouTube for us, so hit that subscribe button and you won't miss anything. Thanks very much for tuning in once again, and have a great week.